Hey YouTube, this is The Art of Prepping. Thanks for joining me today. I just want to do a quick video talking about all the options that we have in life. And there's a lot of people who get overwhelmed with prepping, but it's not just prepping, it's also just life in general. And so you just got to have a pace. You got to have to get in a rhythm. And this is for everyone. This is something we all have to learn. Sometimes we do a little too much. Sometimes we don't do enough. And we kind of know too. We know if we were or were not productive. If we did something meaningful or did not do something meaningful. The thing is so hard though for a lot of people is that they want to rationalize the meaning of life to them. And as we've talked about in the past, the meaning of life is different for everyone. It depends on what your goals are, what you want to accomplish. What makes you tick. We all have different personalities, different interests, different, maybe even callings, if you will, or attractions to do certain things, or certain things feel more natural to us than others. Some people would even say that there's a such thing as talents. Everything is not actually learned through skill sets. There's actually like natural, innate, born abilities that other people just don't have. Because maybe their brain's wired differently, or maybe their body structure is a little bit more mechanically sound to that type of behavior. And so what we have here is a lot of people struggling to just make sense of life when you don't have to struggle at all. Life is right here in front of us. We are life, we don't have to look very far. And so we a lot of times we overdo. We overdo, trying to understand. Because it's not even how, we understand it. It just is what it is. Just like people who want to go back and forth talking about, God or what is or isn't God. And the universe, was it always here or was it just here for a little bit? Was there always time, or was there always a time period that there wasn't time, if there's even a such thing as that? And people go back and forth with all these crazy little comments and all these little crazy little circular reasoning, these circular logic things that could never solve. Just like those questions you hear about, can God build a wall so tall that he can't climb over it? It's just some of the silliest things. There's a lot of things in logic and philosophy that you can, through words, pigeon yourself down, or you can make yourself sound like an idiot. And so there's a lot of things that words don't actually comprehend and actually even encompass. And so it's the same thing about us, where we are bigger than words. Us as humans, our consciousness is bigger than our language. And when you try to put things in little categories and labels and boxes, and you try to say, okay, everything is nice and neat, and now I have more control over that, actually you're letting those labels, you're letting those categories, and you're letting all that stuff control you, and you're being less free. You're now imprisoned by your own ideology, your own words. So I would argue that let's get away from trying to label everybody everything. Just like people like to say about their ethnicity, their background, or their country, or they belong to this or that. Sometimes most of them I just say let's just be all Americans. But I think we need to even go further than that and just say we're all humans. We're all having the human experience. So let's just be human. Yes, there's always going to be affiliations, where you live. Maybe you're narrow-minded and you like to say, well, I'm a certain, color of skin, but who cares? We're at that point now, though, that it's all about being conscious together and working together. The population is starting to grow pretty good on this planet. I don't believe that, we're outgrowing the planet by any means, but I do think that at this particular point, if the powers to be can continue to suppress technology and advancement, especially energy sources and ability to grow foods, and they keep on pumping GMOs in our system, we're going to have a major catastrophe maybe in 50 to 100 years that would be very hard to deal with. And I kind of almost secretly think that that's what these people are wanting to do. They want to collapse the ecosystem. They want to kill off the humans. And that's why they're working so hard to get off the planet. All this push to go to the Mars, all this push to do other types of space exploration when we have all these problems here on Earth. And so I can't help but to believe that they want to colonize, if they haven't already done it, and they just want to get off this freaking planet and let's let us all die. And it's not even let us; they are actively participating in killing us because of their agendas and all of their little ploys that have been unraveled over the last 100 years. Be it the fluoride, the chlorine in the water, all the pharmaceutical medicines that are mostly just toxic as hell, and of course GMOs. And of course, you go anywhere and you can't breathe clean air. So you have all these issues, and they compound, and the toxicity of the human body can't handle it anymore. And you have big outbreaks of cancer. You have all kind of problems, and it lowers the longevity of the lifespan of our different of our species. So what can we do about this? That's the problem. We are of meager means, if you will. We don't have unlimited funds to go to another planet. So we have to be the best filter that we can. And that includes filtering ourselves and our runaway thoughts about trying to be certain things or certain people or certain, I mostly joke about, the whole prepper thing in terms of the term of it, not the actual behavior and the logic of it. Obviously, that's very sound. But, who cares if you call yourself a prepper or not? If you're taking responsibility for yourself and for your family and others that you care about, that's all that matters. Who cares about the label? The label is only there so that people can identify the video. I have to put something on the title, the videos. But in real life, I don't think most people that prep even call themselves preppers. They don't even care. There's probably hardcore, die-core, hardcore, survivalists is what I'm trying to say. That probably would never even mention that they are into any of this, because they don't even think that they're into that much. But there's probably people who are much more apt and more knowledgeable than the people who even call themselves survivalists. And that's what I've kind of noticed just in my life, that people who go out of their way to try to say that I'm this and I'm that, that's why I don't do it. I'm just trying to share what little I know about the subject. And, people, when they kind of push and they try to promote themselves, those are the people you kind of have to watch, because they probably don't know as much as you think they do. And they're just fronting a lot. And so the ones you really want to watch and kind of maybe see how they do it is the people who are real low key and quiet. They kind of just do their own thing. They're very efficient, and they get things done. And they don't have to create a ruckus to get it done. It just gets done. Because their techniques and their mannerisms, their planning skills, their abilities to accomplish their goals are proven time and time. And so with that, thanks for listening. This is just a real quick video about this. Sometimes I just kind of like shake my head that everybody just kind of works so hard to label themselves and to put themselves in boxes. And we don't need to do that. You don't have to even call yourself anything. You can just say you're a human. You're a creature of the world. But who cares? You're here to try to do your best to learn. I think that, we're here to learn and to love each other the best we can, as long as there's, a civilized world to do that. But, if things get so bad, you're going to just have to do what you have to do. And it's just really hard to talk about that, because most of us, at least, to have all this internet access and electricity and food in our kitchen, we don't have a full understanding of that. And even I don't, and by any means. And I don't try to pretend that I do. I worry greatly about, and not that I sit there and dwell on this at all that much, but, the few times that I do, a couple of times a month, it pops in my head for a few minutes of what is it going to be really like if we really have to go and live like it was 100 to 150 years ago. If we really have to do that, people are just going to start dropping off like flies, because that's so outside of their parameter of doable. It's like a no-go kind of thing. It's just, these people are not going to function, and I kind of wonder personally how far can I go? That's why we test ourselves, like doing camping trips and outings. But that's very limited though. That's just a matter of hours or days at them. Most people don't go beyond that. And so it is really cool though to see people who are doing these different tests, turn their electricity off in their home and so forth. But once again, you still have all those provisions in your home. You still have the shelter of your home. You still have the safety and security of your home. And And you have that safety net that if you really did need something, you can probably pull out your cell phone and call. And in real emergencies, you don't really even have any of that. If